I'm back! Yay! For full transparency, I actually recorded like half this video and then I realised my Mac, and for those of you who own a Mac will probably know that it likes to sound like it's on fire, and I realised about halfway through that there was this whirring sound in the background, and I checked the video and yes, it sounded like my Mac was about to take off. Funnily enough, that's what happened to Laika the space dog. Foreshadowing.
That feeling of impending doom.
Anyway, hi everyone, I'm Faith and I love Eurovision. And in this video, I'm going to be going through the first 8 official entries we have for Eurovision 2025. Yay! Just a quick disclaimer, these are just my opinions. I am just a girl from the UK. I don't have any credentials. I'm naturally not going to like every single song, and I'm actually really picky when it comes to music, which is really weird for a Eurovision fan. I understand for a lot of artists that their music is like their child, and so if you criticize it, it can sometimes feel like you're insulting their family. But please know that there is nothing personal here. I want to be surprised, and full transparency, I'm actually recording this on Sunday the 9th of February. I know that Super Saturday happened yesterday, which I did watch, but I'm going to cover that in the next video, so you'll have to tune in. I did write the majority of my script before Super Saturday, so most of my opinions are pretty organic at the time when I first heard the song and saw them perform live. So it's actually really rare that I come across a song that I am absolutely obsessed with, as in constantly playing on and on repeat all day and never getting bored and still having the same chills that I got from the first listen. I think this is actually why my Spotify playlists tend to be a lot shorter than my friends, and maybe it's because I have great taste, or maybe it's because I have autism. We will never know. But you will know when there is that song that gives me those feels. Trust me, I will let you know. So last year I actually had 2, which was Doomsday Blue by Bambi Thug and The Code by Nemo. So The Code is actually now one of my all-time favourite Eurovision songs, and you guys have no idea how feral I went when I first heard it. So it was on like a random Thursday morning and I was sat at my desk. It was 10 a.m. No one had really thought that Switzerland would come through with this, because me and my friends looked at Nemo's discography and it's indie stuff, and we thought that was quite cute, so we assumed it would be kind of something along those lines. And I saw my timeline blowing up on my phone, my Twitter timeline, and it wasn't necessarily anything good or bad, but it was just people being like, oh my god, this song's absolutely insane. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out. So I listened to it and I was trying to do my work at the same time, all my graphic-y stuff, blah blah blah, and I was sat at my desk like I had no one to talk to about this song, because no one at my work is like as into Eurovision as I am. They think I'm absolutely fucking crazy. So I was sat at my desk and I had just heard the winner and I was trying not to go crazy. I was trying to look normal, but it just looked like I had done Class A drugs, and it was a pretty full office, and I think it changed the whole trajectory of my day. I couldn't focus on anything. I was just listening to the song over and over and over. I was stuck in 90 minutes of traffic on the way home and I listened to that song on repeat. I didn't even care that I was stuck in 90 minutes of traffic because I was just listening to this song. I think you can tell by my reaction that I love the song. So let's hope there is a song this year that also gives me those feels, because there's usually at least one. So let's see. For those of you who are curious about songs I've had this feeling with in previous years of the contest, so in 2023 it was Cha 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 by Carrier. Surprise, surprise. In 2022, actually a little bit of a departure for me. I really loved Dedipta by Steen. And in 2021, I loved Zitia Buoni by Måneskin. So I'm not going to talk too much about the national finals themselves, because there are Eurovision YouTubers that do a much better job at this than I ever could. And in all honesty, I don't listen to most of the national finals the full way through, because I'm a really busy gal and I have a thing with wasting lots and lots of time on mid songs that I will never ever listen to again. And judging by some of the reactions of the national selections, I only really wanted to listen to the ones that were big favourites, but there were some that I listened to the full way through. So to try and be fair, I'm just going to do it in alphabetical order of the countries. And first up is Albania, who picked Zion by Shkodra Elektronik. Apologies in advance for my pronunciations. I have Googled, but I'm just an English gal. Sue me. So spoiler alert, I'm kind of starting at the best. This is not going to be the last time you hear this, but I love this song. I love this song. I was never really an Albania stan this year, and I know that she was the big fan favourite, and I did listen to her song Carnival, and I thought it was a little bit too derivative, and I'm just not personally into the kind of World Cup anthems. They don't really do anything for me personally, and I felt like it wasn't super original. But Zium, however, really scratched an itch for me, especially when I saw it being performed live on Fic. I remember watching Fic and I saw Elvana just hanging from the ceiling, just really slowly being lowered, and I was thinking, this is gonna get memed to death. And I'm no exception.
Where is he anyway?
I'm up here.
I'm on it.
And I just thought it was so funny. I've never seen someone so nonchalantly climb up a tower of dancers, and she just looked like she was just going to Tesco's. Zium, however, Beatrice is a star. She has so much charisma. They don't need anything else on stage. They just need the two of them. They have enough stage presence as it is. Now, Albania has been really, really hit or miss when it comes to staging, and I think if they keep it more towards Duya in 2023, that would be better, rather than Bessa or Ranella, because I don't really want to talk about it, but hot mess.
Oh my god, bro.
And I think the great thing about Albania's entry this year is I can really tell that the locals are really backing it, and I think they're really hopeful, and I'm really hopeful that this can get Albania their best result for a really, really long time. And they haven't actually entered the top 10 since 2012, and I think this will be the year that breaks that streak. I will be incredibly surprised if this doesn't get top 10. And I think this could potentially be a dark horse to win. I can see both juries and televote really, really liking this. I think there's a lot to like. They have so much potential, and I'm really, really happy that Albania have pulled through this year, and I'd love to go to Tirana next year. By the way, just for transparency, I think in this video and the next video, it's a little bit early to say whether I think it's winner potential, like fully, but give me about a month and then I'll be able to give a proper opinion, because we just need to see what it's like in comparison to the rest of the songs. Next up is Belgium, whose national final picked Strobe Lights by Red Sebastian. So I did listen to all the songs of Eurosong this year because there were only 8 songs, and Strobe Lights was a standout for me. I think the live performance really, really elevated it. I think the staging was really, really cool, and I think Red Sebastian's vocals were incredible. I think this entry should definitely put Belgium back into qualifying territory, because I think we saw a lot of potential there. I think they could definitely get top 10 with this song, but I don't quite know if the song itself has enough oomph to win. But I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love to go to Belgium. I haven't been there since I was 11. And yeah, good luck Belgium, and well done. It's a really strong pick. Next up is Ireland, who picked Like a Party by Emmy. So as there's only 6 songs for Irish Eurosong, I did give them all a listen, and Bobby Arlo was my favourite. But unfortunately, as predicted, the RTE stage didn't really do anyone any favours. The national final was surprisingly a lot more open than I thought it was going to be. I actually couldn't really predict a winner from it, which was quite exciting. But ultimately, I'm not surprised that Like a Party won. It's fun, it's catchy, and the staging package that they managed to pull together was pretty solid in comparison to the other stagings. It is really catchy, but I think a lot of people haven't actually listened to the lyrics properly and realised that this is a song about a dead dog, and a real dead dog at that. So this song is based on the true story of a dog called Laika, which was sent into space in 1957 by the USSR. And it didn't have a fun adventure like the stories often go. It fucking died. It died after a few hours of heat exhaustion and stress. Great on Emmy for spreading awareness about this topic, but I think people really need to do more research. R.I.P. Laika, you would have loved Like a Party by Emmy. I just died on your arms tonight. I'm on the fence about Ireland's qualification chances this year, because this is a very big departure from Doomsday Blue last year, and not necessarily in a good way. Every time I hear this song, I can't help but feel a little twinge of sadness towards the end, because I remember that there is currently a dead dog's corpse floating around in space. It feels similar to me waking up hungover after a really fun night of drinking because suddenly I realise shit gets real. I'm not having fun anymore. I understand the criticism of a Norwegian artist winning Eurosong, and it does feel a little bit strange, but at the end of the day, Emmy did what she needed to do. She beat the system, she broke the code, and she won fair and square, and I think anyone who has any issues should take it up with the heads of. Just saying, she played the game. Next up is Greece, whose national final picked Astromeda by Claudia. Again, apologies for pronunciation. So I listened to a few of the Greek songs before the national final, and this one was a standout. I also watched most of the national final live, unfortunately, and Claudia by far had some of the best vocals in the whole competition. I'm not usually a big fan of ballads, but I can immediately tell that this is going to be one of the better ones of the contest. And I do think the staging is a bit weird and kind of takes away from the beauty of the song. But I think this is something that can easily be fixed for the Eurovision stage. Greece can be a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to staging concepts, but I do actually have high hopes for Claudia. I do think she has an artistic vision. I'm also really glad we get a song in the Greek language again because I think it's a really, really beautiful language and I wish we heard it more. And yeah, I'm really happy. I think this should qualify. I'd be surprised if it doesn't. I think something would have to go really wrong for it not to. And I hope that they can continue their qualification streak again because that was fun. Right, so next up is Luxembourg, and apologies for me looking down, but they picked La Poupée Mon Leçon by Laura Thorne. As you can imagine, it's in French. Now, I'm going to be honest here. We're honest here on the Eurovision Faith channel. I only listened to this song. I saw everyone slating the national final on the timeline, and I was like, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm just going to listen to what they picked. And that's what I did. But as far as I'm aware, there wasn't really anything super notable in this national final. And I think that was actually the same case last year. I just find it really funny that we were so excited for Luxembourg's return. And it's been anticlimactic, to say the least.
We were all so happy that day. It's actually hard to even imagine how terrible things would soon become.
I think this is a cute song and she can sing, which is great. It actually really reminds me of Rockefeller Street, which was for Estonia in 2011, and Loin de Sea, which was Austria in 2016. It kind of has those cutesy girly vibes, and I think there's a lot of likability with that. But that's kind of all I really have to say about this song. Like, it's cute, but it doesn't really do anything for me. And a lot of people have pointed this out, but I think that the staging really needs work. I feel like they were trying to combine two kind of polarizing concepts into one, and it just didn't really work. But obviously they have plenty of time to fix this for the Eurovision stage. Again, I'm not really sure about their qualification chances. I think it could go either way. I think it could depend on if there's any other similar songs in their semi-final. But I'm on the fence. It's not a complete no, but I'm not excited about it. Next up, we have Montenegro. And again, apologies, I'm going to have to look down so I pronounce it right. They have picked Dobrodošli by Nina Zizic. So I did listen to this song after it officially got announced as Montenegro's entry. And do you know what? I was actually pleasantly surprised because I think it's one of the better ballads I've heard. And as I've said before, I'm not usually a ballad girly. However, it is Montenegro. And they don't have the best track record for staging, and they don't really have the best track record in general at Eurovision. Unfortunately, I think they're one of those countries that has to try extra hard to get televotes. I've noticed they don't tend to benefit as much from neighbour voting as perhaps other countries do. But I wish Nina a lot of luck. I do think that there is potential there. So yeah. Next up is Slovenia, who picked How Much Time Do We Have Left by Clement. Now, there is a very big elephant in the room, and I'm still in shock that this can happen in the year 2025. But there's a chance it might not reach the final anyway, so maybe the discomfort we feel can kind of disappear from our periphery a bit. Anyway, the national final, I didn't really watch it, but it was fucking strange. For those of you who don't know, there were 12 songs, and the jury alone narrowed 12 songs down to only 2, and then the televote had to vote between the 2. No! So the other person in the final was July Jones, and I know going into it she was a big fan favourite. I've actually seen her perform with Karia, but her song New Religion wasn't my favourite. I think she has better songs in her repertoire, but I still really enjoyed it. I feel like I would have really liked it in the Eurovision Song Contest. And I think the thing that a lot of Eurofans didn't realise is that Clement is actually a really big name in Slovenia, so a lot of the locals weren't really surprised that he got picked, and I don't think we should be surprised because unfortunately that's what tends to happen. The song isn't bad, but it's just really forgettable for me, and I think in a televote only semi-final it could be a recipe for disaster and he might not qualify. So let's wait and see. Finally, it's Spain who picked Essa Diva by Melody. I hope the fans don't come for me. I'm scared. Right. So I'm going to start off by saying I'm very surprised with a country that has a population of 50 million people. You couldn't manage to find better singers than the ones you picked. And to rub salt in the wound, a country with about 1% of your population managed to find a better selection of singers than you. Do you not audition people? Do you not audition people? Do you know how heartbroken I was by Fusa Nocta? I literally can't listen to that song again. I can't listen to that song again. That was my favourite of the national final, and I can't listen to it because I'm just scarred from the live performance. You've done this. Stop doing this, Spain. Audition people, please. Oh my God. Anyway, I was quite busy that week, but I watched bits and pieces of the national final because I saw everyone having a meltdown on Twitter and I felt like I kind of had to see what was going on, and yeah. So Essa Diva ended up winning and it's fun. It's not going to get top 10, but it's fun. Zora didn't place well, but we still had fun with it, right? The song to me isn't super memorable, and like a few other people have said, it felt like they were trying to do too much. I think they're trying to recreate a kind of Chanel moment, but I think they don't realise that this needs to happen organically. You can't just pull out a massive bop with loads of dancers and just expect everyone to fall to their knees. It has to feel natural and organic. And yeah, but from what I can tell, I think the Spanish locals are taking it for what it is. I think they're not really taking themselves too seriously, which I don't think is a bad thing. Not everyone can have a winning song. And Spain, this just isn't your year. I'm sorry. So yeah, I thought Benidorm Fest was a hot mess, to say the least. But it was a fun hot mess. I had lots of fun with all the memes. And do you know what? I wish you luck in the future. I think one day you will get your win, but not this year. So that's it for now. I really want to thank you guys for the love I got on my previous video about the UK at Eurovision, and I'm actually planning on making a part 2 to the video, and I'm going to do that when the UK song is officially released. I hope you guys will join me next week when I talk about the next batch of songs. I'd love to see you come to the channel again. Thank you, bye!
There's a dead dog in space. So there's a dead dog somewhere in the back of a frame of every film shot in space, like Star Wars.
I wouldn't say...
There are dead dogs in Star Wars.